Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph video clip. Today I want to talk to you about the word surrender. Now, this is a bit of a strange word for an English teacher to use, and it touches again on this difference between a teacher and a coach. If you've been listening to my podcasts, you'll know that I've been talking a lot about how a coach really helps you to get where you want to be, whereas a teacher gives you grammar. And I've been mentioning in my podcasts that I think all mentors, coaches are teachers, but not all teachers are coaches. And it's kind of sad, especially when it's very clear that something is happening that needs attention that isn't about grammar, because a coach or a mentor would pick up on that, whereas a teacher wouldn't. Now, this word surrender is a really powerful word because, at the end of the day, when you've not achieved everything that you wanted to do, there's a feeling inside that you really are hurting. You're in pain because you think, oh, it's 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to have dinner, and that's the end of the day. But I really wanted to have at least half an hour of learning English, and now I discover that I can't do that because the day is finished. And whatever way you look at it, it hurts. It's like someone with a pin sticking it into you. And I know that in my language learning over the years, it's almost been like I've had a whip in my hand, hitting myself because I felt that I didn't achieve what I wanted to. And it took me a while to realize that, well, I have a choice. I can simply let it go and learn from the situation by rearranging my time slightly to make sure that I get English in. The organization isn't a problem. I'm sure you're very well organized, and the fact is that if you really want to learn English, it'll be there. It'll be in your things to do, but you'll make it a priority if you really, really want to do that. It should come naturally, in fact, if your intention's right, which is what I was talking about yesterday. But my point right now isn't about your organizational skills. It's how to deal with that issue of imperfection, because it's incredibly powerful when that feeling comes up. I wouldn't describe it as sadness, but it's like extreme disappointment. It's like something is saying, well, you didn't do that thing which you promised yourself would get done today. You didn't finish your tasks, and therefore judgment kind of kicks in. And I think it's really important just to take time to let that go and really not dwell on it. Now, you know the verb to dwell, it just means to live. To dwell means to live, and in this case, what it means is that you shouldn't stay in that place. You should let it go and just quickly move on. Because if you start punishing yourself with that, oh, I didn't do it, and I'm really upset about it, it kind of snowballs. It just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's only a problem if you make it one. I mean, tomorrow you could spend double the time with the thing that you didn't do today. So it really isn't a big deal, but sometimes we make it a big problem. And the reason why we make it a big problem, I think, is because we're comparing ourselves to others. Oh, but John, my teammate, he spends an hour every day with his English. That's what he told me, and I'm not doing that. Or John spends an hour every day with his wife. I'm not doing that either. Where's my time going? So I think the question really is, how then do you let go of it? Well, I would say make a mental note of it, or even write it down. Just try to take a quick picture in your mind of what it feels like, so that you don't forget about it, and then simply move on and say, well, it is what it is. You can't change it, so there's no point dwelling on it, but it does raise other questions. Now, when I've been learning Spanish and Farsi, particularly Farsi, uh, there were all kinds of questions there as to why I didn't have stuff done. I was meeting language exchange partners, I think twice, three times more a week, and I was going to those exchanges really not prepared. And then I would really be very tough on myself, saying, well, this is a waste of my time because I'm not preparing and I should be. And that snowball effect, I think, if you allow it to, can really pull you down, because it moves on to other areas of your life and about your capabilities and what's a priority and what isn't. So I think as soon as this comes up, this feeling of disappointment, you can see it as a tool for growth. You've learned something about yourself, and that is that you can't do everything. And that's a really good awareness to have. Um, we're taught that we're men, we should be able to do everything. Well, actually, we're not. And I think the more honest we can be, the better. But we should still be able to get things done by organizing our time properly. But just staying on that point of being able to let go, really, I wouldn't dwell, I wouldn't stay with that feeling that somehow or other the day has been a big disappointment, because you've probably managed to get all the important things done. But it does mean that you need to reevaluate maybe why you are learning English in the first place if you're not getting it done properly. One good way to do that is to have a set time, which you call your worry time. Now, when I haven't achieved specific things that I wanted to, I used to panic and, spend part of the evening worrying about the things that need to be done tomorrow. But then I developed a habit called having a particular time, which is my worry time. And so I decided that between 9 a.m. and 9:15 in the morning, that's when all my worry time would be. So if I, for example, didn't do something, like missed my Spanish study, or in your case, English, I would say, okay, I'm going to move that into my worry time for tomorrow. And so that means that's the time I will think about it. I will give that thing 15 minutes, or make it longer if you want. If you have a lot to worry about, you can say half an hour, or even 1 hour. But whatever you agree with yourself, once that time is over, then it stops. So you could say to yourself, wow, I'll put that into my worry time for tomorrow. I'll put that into my 30 minutes time that I have for worrying tomorrow. And it kind of frees you up a little bit because it means that you're able to focus on other things which are important. And in that worry time of 15 minutes or 1 hour every day, you can then really reevaluate. There's a number of reasons why having a worry time would be really, really good. I think the main one, though, is that during your worry time, it's usually um, at a time when you are separated from the problem. So, for example, if I, let's say, miss my Spanish practice today, I'll be putting it into my worry time for tomorrow. So it means that I can still sleep soundly, worry about it in my hour tomorrow, and my mind will be fresh to give me more um, ideas on how to deal with it. I'll be in a better position to talk about priorities, to talk about what's important and what isn't. And that's a really different thing from lying awake all night thinking, oh God, I have my Spanish that I haven't done, and So I think it's just really important that you develop something like this. But even if you don't choose to have a worry time, when these things come up, these opinions come up saying you are a bad man because you haven't done what you said you were going to do, or you're a bad person because you aren't focusing on your English enough, like a general kind of punishment, you can easily just remember that these are only opinions. There's no reality to them. They are actually opinions set by you, nobody else. Okay, so that means that you have permission to let them go, but it also means that um, you can take full responsibility for them. So it whatever way you do it, don't let them last long, because the more energy you give these, the more they will build. So if you don't catch these negative thoughts in the first moment, they will take you in the second moment. So the first time that thing comes up and says, you are a bad man because you didn't do your English homework, immediately shut it down rather than letting it grow and agreeing with it, you know. Um, or else put it into your worry time for tomorrow, in which case you're acknowledging it, but moving the time that you think about it. These are the strategies that you really need when it comes to learning a language, especially if you're learning alone. Because if you don't have someone there to tell you you're doing well, then of course you are going to be your biggest critic. Speaking about people being there to tell you you're doing well, even if you do have a teacher or if you are going to school, the only person who's going to tell you you're doing well is you. No one else is going to tell you that, no matter how good they are. So the way to do it really is by, first of all, dealing with these thoughts that are coming, that are arguing that somehow you're not okay. Um, as I mentioned a moment ago, they are only opinions, so there's nothing for you to be concerned about there. They're just opinions, and they come and go. And that's all I wanted to say. So, um, yeah, worry time. Choose it and make sure you use it wisely. Anything that comes up during the day, put it into your worry time. That half an hour or 1 hour where you allow yourself to worry. And the moment these negative thoughts come up, if you don't deal with them in the first thought, they will deal with you in the second. So just make sure that you quickly shut them down. And I don't mean repress them, because then they'll just come back later and will eat you. So I think what you really need to do is to make sure that you just move them to your worry time, or don't just dismiss them, replace them with something positive like, I know that's not true because X, Y, and Z. And the more you can see the good, the more good you will see. So just a few things to think about. I mean, it's different for everyone, but to set aside the worry time, I think would be a really, really good start. Well, that's it from me. I hope you've enjoyed this, and let's talk again soon. So see you